Hi there, it's Scott, ROCKFILE, back with another podcast review for you. Let's talk about the brand new Equalizer 3. Well, first up, isn't it nice they didn't give it some weird name? It's just Equalizer 3. Denzel has never made a sequel, and he's never made a trilogy. This is a good idea, I think. I really enjoyed the first two Equalizer movies. The first one I really liked. Like, I went to the theater expecting, okay, but I'll see it because Denzel's in it. And I love the director. And I walked out of the movie and bought the 4K. I've owned it forever. Went to see the sequel, which I like. Pedro Pascal, you know, there's a good plot twist in that movie. And I don't like it as much as the first one, but rewatched it recently, and it holds up better than I remembered it. So enjoyed it. And if you watch this movie with those first two in mind, this tells the third chapter of the Robert McCall character. It's not John Wick. It's not trying to be John Wick. This is an adult action film, and I really enjoyed it. The mini review without spoilers, if you've seen the first two, you have to see this one. And go see it in the theater. It was filmed on location in Italy. Some most beautiful cinematography, scenery. They went there and really did it. No green screens, no fake anything. They are really in this small Italian city for most of the movie, and they go to a bigger Italian city for part of the movie. It looks fantastic. The whole movie. It subverts expectations at many places. But in the end, I walked out of the theater going, that is a great chapter close. Nothing controversial. I mean, I really enjoyed John Wick 4, but when you walk out, you're talking about a whole bunch of stuff that happened and what did it mean? And this one ends and you go, I know what it means. And I really enjoyed the ending. I really enjoyed how the movie came together. And another thing, this wasn't a 2.5-hour film in the theater. That's enough. It was short. It was relatively short. So the short version is, if you've seen the first two, go see this movie. Go see it in the theater. It looks great. Getting into it, I'm not going to get into spoilers because I literally just saw it. It's still in theaters. I don't get into spoilers from movies like that. And I haven't been to the theater in a couple of months, so this was kind of a fun time for me. By the way, I will go see The Creator the weekend it opens and do a review of that one as quickly as possible because every time I see a trailer, that's my kind of movie. Anyway, that's a whole different movie. So, like I said, if you've seen Equalizer 1 and 2, the second movie was different than the first one. It told a different chapter in his life. And this one tells towards the final chapter. And I'm not saying it's the end. I'm sure that if money and other things happen, but the character is getting older, so is the actor. And they call attention to that. And this movie, he's not exactly a superhero. Well, for the most of it. But there's some violence at the beginning and a lot of violence towards the end, and there's a lot of story in the middle. Not that it's a bad thing, and it is punctuated with some interesting things, some plot twists, some things that you just didn't expect going into this movie. And I love a movie that can surprise me. You've listened to probably a few of my 600 podcasts. You probably realize that if a movie can surprise me and do things that I didn't expect from the trailer. I didn't expect from what I know about movies and that kind of stuff. If you can surprise me, make me chuckle, make me go, oh, I didn't see that coming. There was a few of those moments in the movie, and I didn't expect that. When you get to a trilogy, when you get to the end, the third movie of anything, there's not usually a whole lot of surprises. You know, they want to give you what you came for, make it so that you'll come see whatever else they make, if they make any more. But I thought the acting was all good. Here's a brave thing they did. Most of the Italian actors speak Italian. There's subtitles through a lot of the movie. There is a lot of English. Obviously, Denzel doesn't speak, well, he does a little bit, but, you know, I'd say it's closer to 50-50. It doesn't feel like a foreign film, but it kind of does at times. There's large sections with subtitles. Now, they keep the dialogue short. It's easy to read, all that. People that have problems with subtitles probably won't because you can kind of pick up what's going on in the scene without them saying a whole lot. Sometimes they switch back and forth. People, you know, these kind of movies where they're speaking their own language and then to make a point, they drop it in English. That happens a lot. But all in all, it's an adult, well-filmed, if you like Denzel Washington, if you like the Robert McCall character from the Equalizer movies, this is the third one, and it's good at what it does. I really have almost no complaints about I didn't find any of the acting bad. I thought the writing was good. Dakota Fanning being in the movie, they obviously have some kind of chemistry. The fact that they made her character smart, and somebody almost toe-to-toe with him early in her career, obviously. Obviously, he's still it's kind of like meeting the Jedi, right? He's the Jedi and she's the Padawan. And anyway, it worked. That worked. Most of the other actors, I couldn't tell you their names because they're Italian. They were all great. The doctor that saves him in the village, the bad guy with the mafia, the townspeople. He falls in love with the town and he starts wanting to retire, I guess. I mean, that's kind of the idea. The watch is the biggest thing. He times everything. And he puts the watch in a drawer and he goes about his life. And he just can't turn a blind eye to what goes on. And the rest happens as it naturally should. But like I said, there's a lot of surprises. There are a lot of things that you just don't expect going into this film. And I should know that if Denzel Washington is not only starring in the movie, but producing the movie, and it's the same guy he's made, 5 movies with now, or 5 or 6 movies together, Anton Fuqua. They've made some really good movies. Training Day is when they first started working, and they've worked together ever since. Anyway, if I talk anymore, I'll get into spoilers, but you want to see Denzel Washington playing, well, he's getting up there, and he's playing an older version of the character. They didn't make him a superhero, and it's great. It is exactly what you want out of Equalizer 3. I'm completely satisfied with the trilogy if they don't make any more. I've already pre-ordered the 4K Steelbook because, well, it has to match the first 2, right? It was really good. If you don't go to the theater to see it, check it out when it hits home video or streaming or whatever. But this is a movie to see in the theater because you could go like on a date or go with your buds. It is something you can sit down and everybody will walk out and go, hey, that was a good flick. That was really good. And there's stuff to talk about after. And what more do you want from an evening at the cinema? If you plunk down your money and you sit in the theater for a couple hours and you're entertained and you get out and you have stuff to talk about, that's a good movie. And they made a quality movie here. Quality. Equalizer 3, well shot, well acted, well filmed. No complaints. It is very violent. When it does get violent, it's not John Wick, but it's very effective violence. It's bloody when it needs to be, but if you've seen the first 2, it's not any more than those. People get shot in the head. There's knives and putting uncomfortable places. He gives the comeuppance to some bad guys in some interesting ways. There's a little bit of language, but it's rated R for violence, and I'm glad it is. If they had tried to make PG-13 out of this, it wouldn't have the same impact. So should you see Equalizer 3? Again, if you've seen the first 2, it's a no-brainer. If you haven't seen the first 2, go see the first 2, or rent the first 2, or buy the first 2, or stream the first 2, because this literally is a third in a trilogy. Can you sit down and watch the movie without having seen the first? Yeah, but you don't get the import when he just sits down and folds a napkin. What does that mean? Well, if you've seen what he did after folding a napkin in the first 2 movies and how badass he is, that just kind of, like when they first show the very opening of the movie, the violence has already happened. That's not how your typical action movie will start. But again, you've seen the first 2 movies. Why do they need to show you what happened there when you pretty much know what happened? And then they use that for some flashback scenes later. It's a well-thought... Nobody went into this as a cash grab. This is a well-thought-out, end-of-a-trilogy kind of movie, and really well done. None of the 3 Equalizer movies are anywhere near the best action movies ever made, but they're good, quality, Denzel Washington acted action films for adults that enjoy this kind of thing. I think they did a great job adapting an old CBS TV show into 3 movies that are as entertaining as they are. I'll be happy if this is all they make, and the trilogy will sit on my shelf to be pulled out every once in a while and watch, because sometimes you need Denzel Washington doing what he does, and he does it really well in this film. Equalizer 3 is now playing in theaters. I don't know when the home video release is. It'll probably be sooner than we all expect, but when I checked on, they already have the pre-orders up for the 4Ks and the Blu-rays and all that. There's no date on it yet, so I would imagine before Christmas. I'm Scott, ROCKFILE. Thanks for checking out this podcast. It was recorded late at night, and I'm a little, I walked out of the movie theater just about an hour ago, so that's why I'm a little raspy. Sorry about that. Anyway, thank you for listening. A lot more podcasts are there and a lot more on the way. Have a spectacular day.